Teapot Reads. My name's Sam. I'm the teapot. This is what I am currently reading, and I am so happy to see you today. It is Tuesday. I almost never have Tuesdays off, so it's really nice. It's Tuesday, March 8th. I haven't just done a very chill vlog in a while, so that's what this is. It's gonna be really chill. I want to address a couple things before releasing the vlog, I shouldn't say releasing, but like before releasing myself onto the vlog and just continuing to vlog like normal. I feel like I can't go without acknowledging the war in Ukraine. It's not about me, and there's very little I can do, and I don't want to center the conversation at all around my voice, but I do want to acknowledge that it's having an incredibly negative emotional impact on me. I have had to take a step back, and I only really catch up once or twice a day. I didn't realize how emotionally I was being impacted by it until I slowed down, because now it's like all that emotion happens at once rather than just sticking with me all day, and it's a lot healthier, I think. That's all I'm really going to say about the war on Ukraine. What else has been going on? My wrist, I have it in a splint right now. I don't want to go to the doctor. So I have just splinted it and I'm dealing with it. I don't know what's wrong with it. It just hurts, and it has been hurting for a while, but it was starting to get worse all of a sudden, and so I'm splinting it as best I can. I've begun my reread of Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. This is the first book in the Live Ship Trader series. I read this a while ago. This was the only other Robin Hobb I read past the Farseer trilogy, and I did not love it. Like, I remember coming out of it, I was like, that was a good fantasy, but like compared to Fitz's story, like blah. Part of it I think is because it took me so long to read the first time. But this time going through it, I'm actually enjoying it a lot more. I don't think it's as good as the Farseer books are. Again, I've only read the first one, and I'm only reading the first one so far, so later books may change that opinion. But it's not as engaging for me because I don't love any of the characters. I do, knowing kind of where they end up by the end of this book, I do have a lot of respect for a lot of the characters. And oh my god, I forgot how much I fucking hate Kyle Haven. He is the most despicable character I have ever read. Not lying. So Ship of Magic is a lot more, or has a bigger scope than the Farseer trilogy. It follows a lot of characters. It is set in the same world. It's set to the south. It's set on the Cursed Shores, which are south of Chalced, I think. So further south than anyone directly impacted by the war of that happens in the Farseer trilogy. They are impacted, but it's like they talk about how I think the Chalced states are further north, and they seem to be a little more affected. The map is not great. I have a really hard time understanding it. But it focuses around one of the live ships. So live ships are really cool. They're just one of the coolest fantasy concepts. They're awesome. They are these magical ships that they talk, and they're basically a sentient creature, and the figurehead is the like face and body of it, but the whole ship is alive and magic, and it takes 3 members of the same bloodline dying aboard the ship to awaken it, and it has to be carved from wizard wood. And the book really circles and centers itself on Vivacia, which is the Vestrit family live ship. At the beginning of the novel, she is still just a regular ship, but Althea, one of our protagonists, her father is reaching the end of his life. So early on, the ship is quickened, and we get the Vivacia in all her glory. So there are a lot of characters. The 2 protagonists and like the 2 main plots, I would say, are Althea Vestrit, who is the younger daughter of the Vestrit family, but the one who was raised aboard the ship and had every intention of being captain of the ship, the Vivacia, someday. And then Kenneth, who is a pirate, and he wants to be king of the pirates, which is not a thing. So we've got Kenneth, we've got Althea, we have the Vivacia herself, we have another live ship, the Paragon, who is insane. I love him. There's Brashen, who was the first mate on the Vivacia for a while and has a very contentious relationship with Althea. There is Wintro, who is Althea's nephew and who was sent off to be a priest when he was a young child, but with the death of his grandfather is coming home. And then we have Ronica, who is Althea's mother. Malta does get some point of views later on. That is Althea's niece and Wintro's sister. Kefria, who is Althea's older sister and the only other Vestrit child. She has some point of view chapters. There's a lot of female characters in this that get chapters. It's fantastic. And then we have sea serpents. There are sea serpents in this, and the book actually opens with sea serpents, and it's really cool. They're very weird. It's very strange. There's a lot of more strangeness and magic in this book than there is in the Farseer trilogy, and it's very cool, and I'm absolutely living for it. Yeah, I am. So I've been listening to the audiobook as well, which I'm not in love with the audiobook narrator. They do a really good job, but it's not how they sound when I'm like reading the book, if that makes sense. I'm on page 352, so here, still less than halfway, but not by much. 352, 870, 880, 880, so a little less than halfway. And it's been a good experience rereading this. I've had a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. Oh my goodness. Inventory at work is this week. Ooh, God, it's gonna be so tiring, but you know, I'm getting my tooth hopefully finished this week. We will see. Beyond that, there's really not any plans. I'm trying to take it easy. I've been really tired lately, I think partly because of deluging myself with the news, and also just work has been extra stressful recently. Mental health has not been great. It's not as bad as it has been in the past, but it's just not great. Ugh, right? So I'm really trying to just step back from everything and just do the things that give me pleasure, which is reading mostly, and just that kind of stuff. I have been playing a lot of video games. That's been good. I am also like getting into dark academia moods again, so that's fun. I do love that kind of mood. I feel like it's hard in the winter a little bit, but yeah, spring is pretty much here at this point. We're going through all the false springs, but spring is pretty much here, and I'm pretty excited for it. All right, that's it for like intro. Hello, I feel like I haven't talked to y'all in a while, but I know that's not true, but it just feels that way. Hi, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Hello, it is Thursday. It is inventory day, which means I don't have to be at work until 6, which is great, but I will probably be there till about 2:30. That's the scheduled end date or end time. So it's gonna be a long night. I considered taking a nap. I might still take a nap. I don't know, we'll see. But I actually have to go now to the dentist. Hopefully, finally, this will be the last dentist trip in a while. I'm getting the final crown put on. They were just waiting for it to be done being made, and it is done being made. So I actually have to leave for that just about now. Just kind of finishing up everything I needed to do for the day, which I have. I've pretty much cleared the day. I got everything that I wanted to get done, so I feel great. So I'll go to the dentist, I'll come back, I'll take Tank out for a little walk. I can't say it too loudly, I don't want him to hear. And then I will probably, if I can eat by then, I will probably have lunch, and then I might read and like catnap. That's what I'm thinking. Don't know for sure. I don't know if napping would actually do anything. I'll just sleep through most of tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow, thank God. But I just wanted to update you on that. I am also that far, so this is nearly done. I'm really getting into it more than I think I was the first time, and I think that's because I am listening to it on audiobook as well, so I'm able to read it quicker. It's been great. It's been really good. I think that's it for like updates right now though. I will update you later if anything interesting happens. But it's really just a B-roll. And tomorrow I'm going to take it easy. I'm basically not going to do that much. I will be doing like the bare minimum that I need to do. Like I'm just gonna relax and take it super easy tomorrow because it's gonna be a long night. Well, hi. Just got back from the dentist. And I do indeed need to go again because the crown did not fit. It almost fit, but it didn't. So I have the temporary back in. I just have to be careful with it. But I have about 45 minutes before I can eat anything. Which, oh my God, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. I shouldn't have put it off. But I figured why not. So I'm going to take Tank out and I want to record his reaction. He's being a good boy. Okay, I'm gonna take him out. Yeah, time to go to work. Inventory starts. Technically, I think the people actually started because we have the third party come in and then we like they scan everything and then we will audit specific sections. So I think they actually start at 5:30, but they come in through the course of the night and then by like 9 o'clock it's full-fledged. We're all going at it. It's hopefully it'll go well and it'll go smoothly. Oof, I'm already feeling quite tired though. So let's hope this is not ridiculously long, basically. Just 1:45 in the morning. Inventory just finished. Technically about an hour before we were scheduled to finish, but not great. So, you know, I am on the edge of crashing, but I haven't crashed yet, so we're okay for now. Sorry, someone just ran to the door. I'm just waiting for the car to warm up. It's almost done thawing. And then I'm gonna go home. Oh, and then I'm going to sleep, and I've already set my alarm so that it doesn't have to go off. I'm losing my train of my thought because I'm so tired. But the silver lining is I get to listen to more of Ship of Magic on the ride home. I have about 2.5 hours worth of listening and reading left, so I'll definitely be finishing it today at some point. Still feeling the effects of being tired for inventory because I just woke up. Oh my God. I just woke up for like an 1.5 hour long nap. Tank was napping with me. And more important news. I finished Ship of Magic. I finished rereading it. It was great. I think rereading it was far better than the first time because reading this book quickly is the more beneficial way to read it. I'm still waking up. I'm a bit slow. It's the more beneficial way to read it, I think, because there are so many characters and some of the stories are wrapped up, or not wrapped up, but like some of the character lines stop a lot sooner than others. Like Paragon's last chapter is, I'm just guessing, probably like 7 chapters before the close of the book. And Althea and Brashen, we get like 2 chapters after we last see of them. We have Wintro carried to the end. And yeah, I loved rereading it. It was really good. It was worth it by a lot of merit. It was very much worth it. I think to wake myself up, I'm gonna go sit downstairs. I'm gonna go check the mail, and then I'm gonna go sit downstairs and play Pokemon for a bit, I think. I forgot how much I loved Kenneth. He's not a good person, but he's such a good character. Oh my god, I loved Kenneth. Kenneth's great. Probably one of the best characters in fantasy. Not gonna lie, he's just awesome. What am I reading next though? A lot of times I take a while to like debate and think about it, but I know exactly what I'm reading. It's a book that I'm very excited to get to, and that I've been excited to get to for a while. And that is Maurice by E.M. Forster. This is a gay text. It is, so Forster himself was queer, and he wrote this many years before it was actually published. It was published posthumously. I've seen it kind of put on dark academia lists, but I think it's, from what I've heard, it's a little lighter on the end of like academia stories. I'm really excited. I've had this for a while. I've wanted to read it for ages. The dedication is heartbreaking a little bit. Begun 1913, finished 1914, dedicated to a happier year. So, Maurice is definitely not Forster's most famous text. I've never read a Forster work. If I like this, I will probably quickly pick up a lot of his other stuff. A Room with a View and Howard's End and A Passage to India are probably his most famous ones. He's written a couple more than that. Oh, I'm so excited. It's crisp. And I debated whether I wanted to annotate Maurice. And I do think I'm going to annotate. I'm going to highlight. I don't know how extensive the highlights are going to be, but I really want to highlight and interact with and annotate this book. I'm just going to use a gray mildliner highlighter. Let me show you the highlighter because I can't talk. There we go. Mildliner. I love the gray one. I've used gray before for like school in the past, and I don't know why gray is such like a great highlighter color for me, but I do love it. So yes, Maurice, highlighting it. I'm so excited to dive into it. There are very few editions of this. I was looking for prettier editions. There is one that I like, and that if I love this book, I will probably pick up. But there aren't a lot of editions. I debated, so if I don't know if I've talked about before or if you are familiar with this about me, but I don't love to highlight in every book that I own. It really depends on the edition. And for classics, it really depends on not just like the individual edition, but the series. So this is a Penguin Black Spine, and I have debated for a while now whether I want to annotate in my Black Spines, and I have come out on the side of yes, I do want to highlight in my Black Spines. I don't have very many of them, and they are not my favorite editions, and I think it'll be totally okay if I highlight in them. Let me grab Anna Karenina real quick, because that's an Oxford World Classics, which, if you haven't watched my Anna Karenina reading vlogs, go do that. Those were so much fun. But Anna Karenina is an Oxford World Classics, and I was like, you know, I don't love these. I don't mind highlighting in them, and I like hella annotated Anna. Right? She's full. But when I walked out of it, I was like, actually, I don't mind Oxford World Classics. I think they're quite nice. They're not my like favorite. Right, they're not the prettiest books on the shelves, but I actually don't mind having highlighted it and having it this worn, sort of loved look to it. Plus the spine doesn't crack, which I know will be a problem with these, but I've actually come to the realization that I don't really care. So like Oxford World Classics, totally fine highlighting and annotating in. Editions that I won't highlight or annotate in, the Penguin Vintage Classics, so the red spines, I refuse. I think that they just look beautiful and perfect, and I would not highlight in those. Similarly, the Penguin Modern Classics, I would not, that's the blue or the white spines, I would not annotate in these. I have, so like I did for Brideshead, I did tab a lot, and the different colors mean different things, and that worked well. And I love this, and I don't mind the tabbing. I think the tabbing looks nice, but going through it, I just really want that clean page. Having it, I think, marked up would be just really upsetting for me, and I wouldn't feel super as fond to it. Whereas with like Anna Karenina, if I ever reread this edition again, I wouldn't mind having the highlight, and I think it would be great. And I think if I read this edition again, I am planning to reread this book, actually, not this year. But if I were to read it again, I would probably go in with a pen and make more notes. I don't know if I'd highlight more, but I would make more notes. And anyway, I think this is just such a loved edition, a loved book, that I really have no problem going through. And I think that's how I will feel with the Penguin Black Spines. I'm just so excited to do this. I'm so excited to be like reading a classic again. It's been a little bit. I'm so excited to be reading Maurice. That's just one that's been high on my list for ages. And I'm excited to be annotating and highlighting in, because again, I haven't done that in a while. I think the last one I did it for was A Marvelous Light, which you can check out that reading vlog as well. But I enjoyed that, but I thought that maybe annotating that book hadn't been the best decision. I annotated the arc I have just because it kept taking me out of the story. But like with a classic, I feel like it's a different experience, and I'm not going to be penciling like thoughts. I'm really just going to be highlighting, which worked really well for Anna Karenina. I felt really close to the text, and I didn't feel pulled out of the text. I would just like highlight, and it was great. Before I go downstairs and play some Pokemon and check the mail, I just want to read you the official back of the book so that you know as much as I do. There is also a introduction, but I will probably read that later. Most introductions, I think, yeah, it says that it could be spoilers. I may even not read it this time. Sometimes I like to start a reread of a book with an introduction when I reread it, but the official back. Maurice Hall is a young man who grows up confident in his privileged status and well aware of his role in society. Modest and generally conformist, he nevertheless finds himself increasingly attracted to his own sex. Through Clive, whom he encounters at Cambridge, and through Alec, the gamekeeper on Clive's country estate, Maurice gradually experiences a profound emotional and sexual awakening. A tale of passion, bravery, and defiance, this intensely personal novel was completed in 1914, but remained unpublished until after Forster's death in 1970. Compellingly honest and beautifully written, it offers a powerful condemnation of the repressive attitudes of British society, and is at once a moving love story and an intimate tale of one man's erotic and political self-discovery. So, I also did not realize M. Forster only died in 1970, which was not that long ago. I'm so used to thinking of famous, like mega famous authors as being like long dead, but he's really not. I mean, it's been a while, right? It's been over 50 years, but that, I mean, like in the scheme of things, it's not that long. I'm really struggling with the camera. Okay, I got to work early today again on accident. I have like 10 minutes before it's even like still early, but more reasonable to go in. I wanted to just update real quick. So Maurice, reading it, it is so good. I'm in love with it. It is reminding me a bit of Brideshead Revisited in the way it's written and the setting and everything. I do think the two will probably, and so far do, read very well together. I am on chapter 7, so I'm moving along quite nicely. But I wanted to just like highlight some of my like favorite quotes so far, because there are just so many really good ones, and we're gonna work backwards because it's easier to flip one-handed backwards. So I don't think any of these are majorly none of these are spoilers. They're just beautiful words. In chapter 5, in the first page, they're talking about Maurice. He's begun college. He's at Cambridge, and during his second year, he underwent a change. He had moved into college, and it began to digest him. What a cool way to say that. I love that. Oh my God, here's another. So this is in chapter 3.
they're talking about his, like, public school, so I guess, like, high school, basically. If people noticed him, they liked him, for he had a bright, friendly face and responded to attention, but there were so many boys of his type. They formed the backbone of the school, and we cannot notice each vertebrae. I was astounded when I read that. I was like, holy God, what a magnificent way to just, like, fantastic. And the last one, I think this is chapter 1. I just thought this was a really interesting description of, like, school children and the view of school children that a very short-sighted principal has on them. Parting from his pupils when they were 14, he forgot they had developed into men. They seemed to him a race small but complete, like the New Guinea pygmies, my boys. And they were even easier to understand than pygmies, because they never married and seldom died. Celibate and immortal, the long procession passed before him, its thickness varying from 25 to 40 at a time. I just thought that was interesting. I'm really, really enjoying and loving this book, and it's just such a pleasure. I'll actually turn the camera. I still have like a minute. Let me turn the camera and show you some of my annotations so far. So I did end up using some of the tabs because it just made it easier to organize thoughts as I was going. Anyway, not a lot yet because I've only just started, but I'm loving it.
Kind of dark. Sorry about that. It is Sunday, and I am actually off today. I don't often get Sundays off. Well, maybe I do. I feel like I don't. But to be honest, I would actually rather work on the weekend and then have 2 days off during the week. But I know that is not likely to happen, because they need me in the week more than they need me on the weekend, or on both weekend days. But happy Sunday. Today was a time change, or whatever they call it, and so we lost an hour. We lost 2 a.m. Very sad. I feel it. I'm feeling it. I feel a bit like shit. The book, I'm still loving Maurice. I don't think I read much more since I last talked to you. Now I'm on chapter 9. I'm still loving this. I'm absolutely just in love with this book. I'm so happy I'm reading it now. I think it's a good springtime read, and I didn't expect it to be, but it's just so good. It's surprising me. Like, every time I read it, I end up surprised, I think, just by how positively it is depicting queerness. Obviously, it's not like as explicit as modern day texts would be in a lot of ways, but it's just so wonderful. And I do believe, I have heard that it has a happy ending, which means so very much to me. And I like Maurice as a character quite a bit. I think he's very awkward, kind of clumsy, very much just young, right? He's in his second or third year now, I think, of university, and he's just so awkward. Like, so the guy he has this crush on, Durham, is, I don't know, I would say it's even a little further than their crush. I think they've both kind of acknowledged that they're in some sort of relationship, even though it's not intimate in any romantic way. But Durham, when he's he's like taken by him, and the same night that he meets him for the first time, he leaves him to go do something else, and then kind of is acting like very coy, and like goes outside and like smokes, and he's like very much like I hope he just comes across me and sees me being very cool and interesting type thing. And then when he does see Durham walking, he screams out. His voice is like hoarse, and he's like, "Good night." That's so cute. That's so sweet. Like, that's everyone with a crush, you know? Or not everyone, but that's so many people with crushes. They're just like awkward, and they're kind of like tripping over themselves, and trying to be impressive, but failing. I think it's so sweet. It's so cute. And I think Maurice is just like an interesting character because he's so average, you know, and he acknowledges he's average, and everyone around him acknowledges that he's average, and I kind of like that. But that doesn't mean he's any less like important or special or deserving of like a story and a relationship and all that. Anyway, still loving it. Just wanted to update there. I don't think I'll be getting a bunch of reading done today. I do want to read at least a little bit. Like, I want to get into part 2 for sure, which I only have like 2 chapters left, so that shouldn't be difficult at all. But I am hoping to also take Tank out and go on a little adventure with him, which is exciting because it is gorgeous out. It's very nice out. I mean, it's still cold, but it's beautiful out. So I'm excited about that. I've also been kind of thinking about what I want to read next. I'm debating a couple things, and if it changes or what, I'll talk about it more. But right now, excuse me, right now I'm kind of torn between The Atlas 6 and Emma by Jane Austen, and I'm not sure which way I'm gonna lean yet, but it'll probably be one of those. I picked this up yesterday. This is the entire Anne of Green Gables series. These are the editions that I plan on annotating and reading. I think, now tell me if you would be interested in this, but I think it would be cool to do a reading vlog a la Anna Karenina of all the Anne of Green Gables books. There are 8 of them, so I could do 4 parts, or even I think I could get away with maybe 3 parts. Do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8. But yeah, let me know if you'd be interested in that. I think I would probably get to it after I finish the Live Ship Trader series. So it would probably be a summer thing, is what I'm trying to get at, I think. It would probably be a summer thing, maybe a little earlier than that, but I'd love to read them back to back to back. I think that would be just delightful. And can we just like show off the covers real quick? I want to show them off. So we've got, here's the first one. You've probably seen these covers. I just love them. This is Anne of Green Gables. Anne of Avonlea. I love this cover. I love this cover. Anne of the Island. I love this cover too. Anne of Windy Poplars. Anne's House of Dreams. Sorry, the glare's not super bright. Anne of Ingleside. Rainbow Valley. I think this is one of my favorites as well, cover-wise. And then Rilla of Ingleside. So, I don't know. I think it would be lots of fun to read these back to back to back to back to back. I haven't done that with a longer series in a while. And I think this would probably be the series to do it with. I'm excited. I like, this won't be my next read. I can tell you that, because it'll just take a lot of time. But yes. Anne of Green Gables. Look forward to that. I'll definitely vlog about it, whether or not it's like dedicated vlogs or not, I'm not sure. But like I said, let me know if you'd be curious on that, because I think it would be interesting. I realize I haven't done a real proper update on Maurice in a couple days, so I wanted to, now that I'm definitely past the halfway point, and I'm still really loving and enjoying this book. It's really good. I don't want to talk too in depth because I don't want to spoil things. I am at this point planning on doing a review. I really hope I actually get to it. I feel like I always say I'm planning on doing a review for this or this or this, and then I just like don't get to it. But I really would love, especially to do a review of Maurice, because I think it's important, and I have a lot of things I want to talk about that I need to sort of spoil, and a review would be the best place to do that. I did have to change highlighters, so the gray highlighter I was using ran out pretty much. So apparently it's about 100 pages per highlighter, so now I'm using a blue highlighter. I loved the gray one though. It was such a good highlighter. I love the shade of gray for highlighting, and it especially makes me feel like, I don't know, just like pretentious a little bit. And I don't know, it's just like the color gray. The back of the book mentions a couple different characters. It mentions Maurice and then Clive, who we meet very early on. Clive and Durham are the same person. It took me quite a while to put that together. And then Alec, it mentions. And I'm on chapter 30. I'm in part 3 of 4. I've not met Alec yet. I hope we meet him soon. I kind of was flipping ahead to see if he was mentioned, but I didn't want to spoil anything, so I wasn't looking too close. But I'm just like, for a character to be mentioned on the back, it's taking a while to get to him. I thought that was interesting and a little strange and a little frustrating that they would mention him so, like, clearly on the back and then just... he's not actually, like, that early in the story. The back, it doesn't, I don't think, do a good job of actually describing what this is about. But it's okay. It's still really good. I also want to talk about Maurice. So he, as at this point in the book, started to really grow and change and become a more likable person. But he is, like, an asshole and a misogynist and just mean to his family and very much a privileged little dick. And the book acknowledges it. There's not a point where the book is like, but this is okay. Like, the book is like, no, Maurice. There's actually a line where they're like, Maurice was a misogynist and his sisters hate him. And, like, I really enjoy that it was acknowledged. And I like that the book doesn't really forgive him for it. It's just, like, a fact of it. And I like that he's now changing a little bit. I don't think he's gonna change his ways, like, perfectly or forever. But he is growing. And I really like the trajectory he's on. But I do want to acknowledge that he's a dick and an asshole, especially early on in the book. But yeah, I'm still really, really, really enjoying this one. I'm so glad I picked it up. And I've been debating, I think I mentioned that, I've been debating what to read next. I think I'm really leaning towards Emma. And then after that, I will probably pick up a fantasy of some sort because I don't think I could do, like, 3 pieces of literature in a row. That doesn't sound fun to me. That sounds like a headache almost. Just, like, too heavy. I don't think I would suck it in. But actually, let's talk about book buying. I'm doing really good not overbuying books this month. I'm doing really good. I'm so proud of myself. It has been several days since I've bought a book. Actually, I keep track. I haven't purchased a book since the 9th, and it is the 17th, which is not a large chunk of time, but for me, it's such a long time to go without buying a book. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. I definitely have, I would say, an addiction to buying books. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna just finish up some little tasks, do a little bit more reading, and then have lunch before heading off to work. I'm excited because we're gonna go, or my mom and I are gonna go see the Batman. I'm really excited for this one. I've been excited for a while. I think a lot of people have. I have avoided spoilers, I think. I don't know if there's anything really to spoil. I mean, I'm sure there's something, but it's not like a Marvel movie where I feel like there's a lot to spoil. But I don't know, I could be wrong. I'm excited. I can go see that. Probably gonna get candy from just, like, the Jewel-Osco rather than the movie theater. And yeah, I have 3 chapters left of Maurice, and I really want to finish it tonight. So I think I'll come home, and I've had a headache all day, but if I'm feeling like even just like the same as I was, I will probably finish the book. I really want to finish it. That's pretty much it for Caught Up. But yeah, gonna go see the Batman. Hopefully I like it. I think I will. Maurice, really good, giving it 4.5 stars just because there's a little bit of a slog in the middle. Very important stuff was happening, but very dryly.
I think that's just like a product of its time kind of thing. But I loved this, and the ending was just so good, so profound, so good. There were a couple moments where I was like just absolutely cheering for Maurice. Like this, this was good. This is going down as as one of my favorites, probably. Just a fantastic book. So good. Tomorrow I start Emma. I am really excited to read Emma. I'm really excited for another Austen. It's gonna be perfect for spring. Really looking forward to it. And oh my god, the Batman, it was really good. I enjoyed it. I am also gonna give that probably like 4.5 out of 5 stars. Basically, there were some moments that were just a little like unpolished and took me out of it. I was like, okay. But overall, I thought it was really, really good. Really fantastic. Anyways, it is now like 11 o'clock. I just really wanted to finish Maurice today. So I'm going to go shower, get ready for bed, and knock out because I work tomorrow morning. Oof, tomorrow's probably gonna be a real busy day. We'll chat soon, and I will be reading Emma. All right, before my D&D game starts, I just wanted to jump on and say I started reading Emma today. I'm really enjoying it. Definitely a sort of switch I have to do in my head to read this one after coming off Maurice, which, although definitely not a contemporary text, it reads a lot more contemporary than Austen reads, so I do have to kind of like do the mental switch. But I'm really excited. I'm really happy to be reading Emma and another Austen, and yeah. And I'm reading my Chiltern edition because it's cute, and I've never read a Chiltern edition of something, so I just thought this would be a perfect opportunity. Guess who is going back to the dentist today? It's me. I'm going back to the dentist. Hopefully this is the final time. Fingers are crossed. It's a kind of like, well, no, it's not kind of. It is a rainy day. It's a little dreary out. Yesterday was so nice. I got to do some reading outside. Today probably not, but I am still gonna try to take the little guy out. So I'm gonna lay down and read and maybe cuddle with him. And then I'm going to the dentist, hopefully for the final time. Some updates. The tooth update. It's over. It's done. The permanent tooth is finally in. Or it's 2 permanent crowns, but it's done. They're done. They look very much like real teeth. I am incredibly impressed by them, I'm not gonna lie. The tech I had was, I think she was new because she had to take like x-rays, and the dentist had to like step away because she was like doing me between other patients, and she was like, can you get the x-ray done? And the tech was like, yeah. And then like the dentist comes back 10 minutes later and she's like, did you do the x-ray? And the tech at this point has just kind of played around with the machine, like she's trying to figure out how it works, and like hasn't like prepped me at all. And she's like, nope. And so the dentist goes away for another 10 minutes or so, and the tech like hurries to do it and like throws the vest on the lead vest or whatever it is, and then
like shoves the bite thing in my mouth, like, and shoves it in. It hurts so much. Like, it always hurts, but it felt like it was like ripping at the like soft part of my mouth. And she was like, you have to close now. I was like, I can't close, it hurts too much. Like, can you revisit it? And so she like yanks it out and then shoves it back in like a worse position. And she's like, close now. And I'm like trying, and like tears are like forming because I can't stop them because it hurts so much. And finally I'm able to like close enough, I guess, that she could take the x-rays. But I was like, oh my God, that was the most painful experience. And then she like rips it out again before I can like even open my mouth all the way. And I have a pretty small mouth, I feel like. It doesn't open that wide, and so it's like, and I was like, and yeah, but then the dentist was able to put the permanent crowns in, which from what I understand are not actually permanent. Like, they can last a really long time, but at some point in my life I'll probably have to replace them. Although I do have another root canal on this side that I got in like 2014. So that still lasted, and she said that looks great still. But reading updates, I am almost at the halfway point of Emma, and I'm really enjoying it. Emma is a hard character to like as a person, but as a character, I really like her. And I actually find this a really entertaining and interesting book. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Cranford by Elizabeth Gaskell, which plot-wise they're completely different, and even character-wise they're different. There's just so much of that like wonderful like small town gossip going on. It's just fun. Like, the matchmaking aspect is fun, and you're the reader are watching and you're like, Emma, you're a train wreck. Like, you're not, but you are. Like, your decisions are also poor. But also she's very just a genuine character, and she's a good character. I am enjoying it quite a bit. I did also, so I'm not a very visual reader. I just can't really picture things in my head. And so I decided to start watching and to watch the most recent Emma adaptation with Anya Taylor-Joy in it. And it is doing wonders. It's making the story come alive in just this new wonderful direction. It's fantastic. I'm not done with it yet. I will probably finish that today. It's a very good movie just on its own, but reading it in conjunction with the source material has just been wonderful. And I don't really mind spoilers. It's not a book that like I care about spoilers for, because I'll enjoy it regardless. Like, every time I read Pride and Prejudice, I love it. It doesn't matter that I know how it's going to end or how it's going to get there. It's just a wonderful book. And like, so far Emma is very much the same way. But the movie is just like making certain things clearer. Like, because I'm not very visual and because Austen doesn't tag a lot of her dialogue, I have a hard time sometimes following really long conversations or conversations with lots of people in it. And the movie really clarifies a lot of those and will really just position the characters in a way that makes me go, oh, okay, so that's who that is. That's how they're related. That sort of thing. There's a lot of the fun little bits missed in the movie because it's a movie and you have to shorten it, but it's still really good and I'm still really enjoying it. And it's a lovely film. The cinematography is fantastic. That's it for updates. I will see you guys soon.
Oh my gosh. So I went to Half Price Books and I found out they have a little tiny section where they carry like book box editions of things. And they had an Owl Crate edition of Legendborn, and it has the author letter and everything. And it was still in the packaging, completely sealed. I opened it up, but I was so excited to have this. Oh my god. I can't wait to add this to my shelf. I loved book one. So this is so exciting. I'm so happy.
Let's talk about Emma. It's so good. I am really, really enjoying Emma. There are, like Austen just in general, there are moments that I think are just a bit dull, but like when I read Pride and Prejudice for the first time, there were just scenes that I was like, oh, I can't get through it, or it's very hard to adjust to the language or something. And then when I reread Pride and Prejudice, I found myself just enjoying every one of those scenes. So I feel like Austen, you have to read a novel at least twice to really enjoy it to the extent it needs. But it's not a hardship because it's just also just wonderful even the first time you read it. So I'll definitely end up rereading Emma at some point, probably not this year, but probably probably next year. I am really enjoying it. I'm in part 3. I've got about a third of it left. And it is going so well. It is such a delightful book. It has put me in such a Regency mood. That and Bridgerton season 2 came out on Friday. I am in the middle of episode 2. I really wanted to just binge this season, but it's not happening. I haven't been able to sit down long enough and just like watch even a full episode through, but I am loving it. And I'm taking a really low-key day today because I actually had the entire weekend off, and yesterday I spent a lot of time doing things, and I haven't had an intentionally low-key day in a while. They've always just been like, it'll be low-key, but I still have to do this checklist of things, and today it's really just, if I manage to get productive things done, good job. If I don't, it doesn't matter that much. So that has been sort of a nice relief for me today, and I think tomorrow might be a slight continuation of it. Not that I'm going to have as much free time tomorrow because I'm working, but I will just have less responsibility I'm putting on myself tomorrow because I have game night on Tuesday. Other life updates. Yesterday, Tank got a tick, and not the blue superhero kind. I feel really bad for him. I'm the one who found it, and I am terrified of insects, so it was doubly distressing because I was like, oh my god, Tank has a tick, and oh my god, there is an insect. He did so good. I mean, we don't think it was on him for very long because it was in a spot where we all would have noticed it, and like I'm petting him pretty much constantly. In between, like not gonna lie, in between anything else I do, I always have to go visit him and just pet him for a couple minutes and hang out and play with him. So it probably wasn't on very long because someone would have noticed it. So we did pull it out, and he did so good. He stayed still. He didn't whine. He just let us do it. But unfortunately, we weren't able to get the head out. So we are taking him to the vet tomorrow. I'm taking him, I think. That's it for updates. I am actually going to go watch some more Bridgerton. And it is Tuesday. I am throwing a game night tonight, and we are playing Night Cage. I've never played it before, but I'm super excited to. I have had it since this autumn. I picked it up at work because I was like, this sounds amazing. So I'm going to quick learn it and read through it and set it up like preliminary wise. Yeah, I brought all the snacks just arrived, and I want to set the snacks up too, but I think I'm just going to like set the game up, figure the game out, and then I will finish Bridgerton, actually. Take a break to finish Bridgerton. I have one episode left, like, oh my god. And then set up snacks and everything and finish cleaning and then be set, I think. People are gonna start arriving around like 5:30, I believe. So it's like 2 o'clock now, so I got time. Wednesday morning. I am tired. The game went so well. It was so fun. And the first game was like perfect. The final move of the game, we won. The second game, we're not as lucky, but it was still loads of fun. It was a great game. I fully recommend it. I'd say like 4 out of 5. And I also finished watching Bridgerton, which was also really good. I will say I don't think it was as good a season as season 1. There was a lot of quirkiness in season 1 that really isn't super there in season 2, and they really didn't give Anthony anything to do, which I'm kind of okay with because they gave Kate a lot to do, and they gave a lot of the side characters a lot to do, especially the like mothers. I really liked that, but it wasn't, I don't think, as good as season 1. But it was still a lot of fun. I loved it. I was getting a little sappy at the end. Yeah, I liked it. I've read the book, and I think the show is definitely better than the book. That being said, I do think there were some decisions made that it's a bit of a shame they got rid of it. I think that they held off on the satisfying coming together of Kate and Anthony a bit too long. It was getting frustrating in the end in not a great way. And I really wish we had gotten the scene, the under the desk scene. I really liked that scene in the book. But yeah, otherwise, definitely, I hate the book. So And he was such a good boy last night, even though he doesn't love when lots of people are here. Hello. I finished Emma and I finished Tide Song yesterday. Tide Song was really quick. I gave it like 3.5 stars because I loved the ending. The ending was great. It subverted a lot of my expectations and it just did so in such a wonderful way. But the book itself was just kind of blah. I felt like it moved too fast and didn't really develop characters. There were a lot of quiet scenes, but not a lot of quiet scenes that packed an emotional punch. I did love the art though. But Emma, I finished it. I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I will be rereading it, and I will probably be rereading it shortly. Like, it didn't take me long from my first read to my second read of Pride and Prejudice. It probably won't take me long from my first read to my second read of Emma. I can see why it's people's favorites, Austen, but Pride and Prejudice is still my number 1. It's gotta be. I just loved it to death. But now I'm going to start Mad Ship, which is book 2 in the Live Ship Traders series. Exciting. This is the first Robin Hobb book that I'm reading recently, unless that I haven't read before. So it's new material and I'm excited to see what happens and where the characters go and how they'll end up. I'm stoked, actually. I'm really excited. I am going to get the audiobook because it is so long. There's no way I could read it in a reasonable amount of time right now. I just have too much going on, but I'm gonna get to Mad Ship today. Have been flying through Mad Ship. I did not think that I would get through it this quickly. The beginning was like slow and I was like, it took me like a couple chapters to get back into it, but it's so good. It is fantastic. This is so good. The plot threads that are coming together are blowing my mind, and I already have, like, I think I have put together a piece of Paragon's history already. It hasn't been revealed, but I think I'm right. And I'm in love. I'm in love with this book so much. Like, book 1 was good, but this is just like worlds beyond because of, I think the answers we're getting are just so cool and so interesting. And I am loving the complete hatred this book has for slavery and just the absolutely complete narrative of impassivity when something horrible is happening, but in this case slavery is just as bad in a lot of ways as actually trafficking in it. Like, the people who are not doing anything about it are being condemned by this book in a lot of the same ways. So I'm loving that. It's fantastic. I have been listening to it a lot on audio as well as reading it. I used audio for book 1 as well. It really helps me get through it because I can listen to it on the car rides, and I can also listen to it as I'm falling asleep. And I'm not a visual person, but I think it's a little easier for me to visualize or be absorbed in a place if I'm listening to it on audio. Yeah, I just really want to come on and update that because it's going so well, and it's put me in such a fantasy mood. But I don't think anyone really writes like Robin Hobb does. Other updates, as you could see from the B-roll, I went and I saw 6. It was fantastic. I loved it. I had stayed away from most of the music leading up to it because I wanted to just enjoy the experience as completely new as I could, and it was so good. It was so short. I'm not used to shows being so short, but it was good. I adored it on every level. It was fantastic. I've been listening to the soundtrack just pretty much on repeat. And that's really it for updates. Not much has happened, I don't think, since I last talked to y'all. I'm gonna go play with the dog, and then I'm gonna have lunch, which I'm excited because I'm hungry. And then I'll probably actually do some writing because I have been motivated to write lately, which hasn't happened a bunch in the last couple months, but has hit me the last couple days pretty strongly. So I will probably be writing, which is also very exciting. 2 things. 1, something big was just revealed in the book, and I'm freaking out about it. Holy fuck. I don't know what's gonna happen next. I'm so worried for the character. And 2, I have like 150 pages left, and it's almost 9 o'clock. But I'm gonna try to finish tonight because oh my god, I have to know. I really want to finish it tonight. I did it. I finished Mad Ship, and it was fantastic. 4.5 stars. There was so much going on, and there are so many characters, and obviously events can't always line up perfectly. But it being chronological, like if A is happening and B is happening at the same time, you know, we can get the split perspectives. But as A is happening and it takes months for B to happen, we have to wait, you know, the book equivalent of like months or weeks or whatever. It was starting to wear on me near the end of this. It was a lot of Malta stuff, and while I think that was really interesting and I like Malta as a character, I was like, she's not the most interesting character anymore. So only 4.5 stars because the ending was just starting to lose me a little bit. But it was really good. I did not get to finish it last night, but I did finish it this morning, and it was fantastic. I am going to be starting The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. This was sort of an out-of-nowhere start, but I am going to start reading this. I don't think it's going to take me long. It is very short. It's not even 300 pages, and I have a feeling I'll finish it quickly. That being said, I'm not in like the greatest mindset today, so this might be a bad idea, but it's too late. I have already decided on it. As much as I was loving Mad Ship, I was reading it quickly, but I wasn't reading it like that quickly compared to how I typically read. But I'm about halfway through The Bell Jar after only 1 day of reading it. I read about 100 pages. And that's a lot for me. Part of it is that I was off. Part of it, I think, is I'm not feeling like my tip top most right now. And I was trying to cope by reading to give myself something to do, and that was helping. Maybe not the best book to read when I'm not feeling super well, but I am enjoying it quite a bit. I definitely feel a little pretentious reading it. It's one of those books that makes you feel slightly pretentious, I think. I didn't know anything about this novel going into it. I'm enjoying it. It's definitely not a happy book, and it's definitely got parallels to my own feelings about things. That being said, you need to acknowledge things about the author and the text. I believe Sylvia Plath was anti-Semitic, which is not okay, just really bad and really not cool. And she's also casually racist, like many people writing in this era were, but that's not an excuse. It's just sort of, she wasn't really that progressive outside of white feminist values. And yeah, there have been quite a few things that have been like, oh, we're just gonna say that. I am really intrigued by her as a person, though. I think because of her mental health. So I might pick up, there's a biography about her. It's like 1,000 pages long, though. So that may not be the one I pick up. But I might pick up that. I might pick up some of her letters that have been compiled into a volume. I'm not sure. I am considering picking up her poetry. I'm not a big poetry person, though. So, may not. Anyway, I just want to come in and update that.
Just wanted to update real quick. My phone, apparently on its last leg, and it's pissing me off because it's not that old of a phone, and I really like this phone, and I don't have money for a new phone at the moment, but I am going to have to find money for a new phone, because this phone is like half the time it's not taking a charge. When it takes a charge, it dies right away. It's not letting me open like half of the apps. It's getting real annoying, and I'm just like at my wit's end with it. So I don't know when I'll get a new phone. I use this phone to record as well, so it would affect that if I get a new phone, or if it just completely dies, that'll be affected by it. But I just want to update you with that, because if footage changes wildly, I either got a new phone or I had to switch to my camera because the phone is dead or not letting me open the camera or something, which I'm so happy it hasn't done that yet, but I know it's just a matter of time. That's really cool. It's taking a charge on wireless charging platforms, so at work I think we might have one in clearance. I'm gonna try to grab that. I'm just so freaking annoyed by it, so we'll see.
Hello, time for an update, because I just finished The Bell Jar. I loved it. I thought it was so good. Obviously had a lot of issues, racism, homophobia. It's really bad. But mental health wise, I felt so seen in the pages of this book and just validated in a lot of ways. And I absolutely loved it. I thought it was really good. The writing was gorgeous. Yes, Sylvia Plath was an anti-Semite and not necessarily a very good person, but her struggles are so similar to my struggles that I find it hard to just outright hate her, I guess. Definitely coming from a privileged point of view and saying that. But yeah, mental health wise, it was just so invigorating to be seen like that. But it is over, it is done. I think I'm going to end up giving this 4.5 out of 5 stars. There's just too much racism to give it 5 stars, okay? We don't fuck with racism. Okay, so I'm feeling dark academia vibes, but I don't really want to read another classic, and ideally I would like to read a diverse author. So that's kind of my thoughts right now. Fantasy would also be okay, but I think on the lighter end, because Ordinary Monsters looks like it's going to be heavy. Okay. Iron Widow, Iron Widow, not at all what I just described and what I want to read, but for work reasons, I've wanted to read this outside of work, but for work reasons, I'm feeling like pushing this near the front. This is a sci-fi dystopian, I think. It says The Handmaid's Tale meets Pacific Rim. This one I think would also be really short. A Lesson in Vengeance might actually be perfect, though. This might be exactly what I wanted to read. This is by Victoria Lee. I don't know if this is a series. I should look that up. A large part of me really wants to read the Atlas Six, but I really, really, really would like to read a diverse read. Even though I'm like dying to get to this one.
last three options. The Chosen and the Beautiful, which is a like Great Gatsby retelling. My Year of Rest and Relaxation, which I think would be kind of trippy to read next to the bell jar. And Love in the Big City, which was long listed for the International Booker. So. I don't know, this kind of fits like every ticket. This might be the one, guys. I'm just gonna already pass an Iron Widow and these Violent Delights. Let me see if this is part of a series real quick. So it's not part of a series, which none of these are. So it's not like it would have pushed over my decision, but I was kind of hoping it was part of a series because I do love series. And I don't think there are like really that many Dark Academia series, but this literally ticks every box. So we're going with A Lesson in Vengeance. This is going to be my next read. I don't think this will take me long at all. And I love this cover. I know this vlog has just been going on forever, hasn't it? I just don't want to say goodbye. Just don't want to say goodbye and wrap it up yet. Good morning. I have big plans for today in that I want to get a lot done, and we'll talk about that more as the day progresses. But I've not been doing super well mentally lately, so we'll talk about that maybe too. But I'm gonna try to vlog all day today and talk and be open, and we'll see. I know I just said I was going to try to update you guys throughout the day, and I am really going to try to do that, but it's been a couple hours since I woke up, and I've actually done a lot of things I really needed to get done. I recorded a video that is going up today, but has probably been up for a couple weeks when you see this, which is a read with me. I am just mentally getting to a point where I'm feeling just creatively exhausted, so this was a really nice breather and restart, and I didn't have to focus too heavily on YouTube creativity or YouTube anything for a couple days, which I really needed. It was really good. I think that if this goes like passingly well, I will probably do read with me's instead of doing week breaks. If I need to take like a break, I'll probably just upload a read with me because it was easy to film. It turned out looking better than I thought it would. Wasn't really sure how it was going to visually look. I really like it. I liked the music choice. I think it turned out good. I think it's a good, solid video. And I'll link it above. I think it's also a nice little evergreen video and a nice little video to remind us all to take a break and to take a breather when we need it. Even when we don't realize we need it, because I definitely needed it. And just, I actually was reading during the Read With Me video, and it was nice to just read for about half an hour, uninterrupted. My dog was there, and that was nice. You know, it was just good. But speaking of reading, I am almost done with A Lesson in Vengeance, and I'm actually going to have a little snack after finishing recording this, and then I'm going to
read this book hopefully to finish, or at least until my laundry is done, because then I'm taking the dog out and then I have a couple errands to run. I'm loving this book. It is so good. A little shy of 5 stars. If the ending like super surprises me, I think then I could do maybe 5 stars. But there's a couple moments that are just so almost out of place feeling. Nothing like that tears me from the story, but just moments where I'm like, you didn't execute that in the best way. And it was enough to jar me. But I love it. This is clicking every single box that I needed. And it is so good. I am in love with all the characters. I adore the aesthetic. I adore the aesthetic. Like, I wish I could walk into the pages of this book and swallow up the aesthetic and then walk out and bring it into my own life. Like, I can't, but I will kind of probably be trying. The mystery is getting me. I have no idea what's going to happen next. That's why the ending is probably going to either tick it into solid 5-star territory or kick it into probably safe like 4.5. I don't imagine it'll get lower than 4.5. Maybe it will. Maybe it'll hit 4. It definitely won't hit lower than 4 unless it becomes super offensive or something. It's just amazing. And it's such a shame this is a standalone. Like, it has to be a standalone. It wouldn't make sense otherwise. But it is just such a shame because I could live in this forever. Like, this is what a lot of dark academia books wish they were. Okay? This is what a lot of them wish they were, and it is fulfilling every moment, everything for me. So after I finish this, I'm actually going to start reading or rereading Pride and Prejudice. It is just time. I really need to reread it. I know I just read Emma, but I really need to read another Austen, and I'm probably just going to reread Pride and Prejudice. It won't take me super long. I just got a new edition because I get new editions all the time, and the introduction was really good, so yeah. And then after that, I don't know for sure. So many books keep piling up. It keeps happening.
I just wanted to really quickly update with mentally, I am not doing great at all. But I also, driving to work yesterday, had a really fun idea for a project to work on that really got the creative juices going. So regardless of whether I actually do the project or not, there's a lot of excitement there, and the planning of the project, like general planning of the project, will be a really fun thing to do the next couple days. But I don't know, it's just mental health has not been performing well. My skin looks terrible. I finished my reread of Pride and Prejudice yesterday, and I finished it like late last night. So I picked up Iron Widow, which, this is not going up until after it's announced, is actually the winner of the Barnes & Noble YA Book Awards. And I wanted to read it just to see if it was worth the hype. And I have the Illumicrate edition, which is pretty. I went into it kind of wary because I'm not a big mecha person. I don't really like those kinds of stories typically. I'm not saying all the time, because I was a big Voltron fan, although I wasn't really a big fan because of the mecha. You know, like, it's not like a complete turn-off story-wise. I'm just shy of like 100 pages. This is phenomenal. This is so good. A little bit of issue with the dialogue. It just sometimes feels like an adult writing a teenager and not getting it, but for the most part, this book is fantastic. It is stellar. I'm a little bit obsessed. I think it's been a couple days since I like sat down and talked to you guys for a couple minutes, so we're gonna do that now. It is April 20th. Yes, this vlog is going on forever. Couple things. Iron Widow, I'm reading it. I am really enjoying it. This is the Illumicrate edition, which is very pretty. I love this. I like this too. It's not like I don't get it. I don't know why it for this book, but I do like it. It's pretty. I'm on chapter 16. I'm really enjoying it. The world building is awesome. The characters are awesome. I'm really enjoying it. It's doing some really nuanced things with traditional YA tropes, and I'm absolutely living for it. This is absolutely the evolution of where YA like 10 years ago was playing.
this is where it's coming, and I just absolutely love it. My only complaint is the dialogue, which is often very bad. And on sometimes, like, so at first, back it up. At first, it was really just scenes of teenagers talking, or our main protagonist, teenager, talking, and it very much came across as an adult not understanding how teenagers talk and trying to emulate it all the same. It did not work. I didn't like it. I was like, ooh, that's kind of cringe. And it's not even because it was like dating itself with like phrases. It was just the like cadence of the speech. And it was like, this feels like adult trying for teen. So at first, that's the only issue I had with the dialogue. And I was finding that like world building pieces or serious pieces of dialogue really weren't having that issue. And thank God this isn't a dialogue heavy book, okay? But then as I've been getting deeper into it, even those kind of moments are just odd and not working, and the flow is just not there. It feels like the characters are not set in their present setting. It feels like they are just acting and not actually part of this book. There was a scene where a higher up official was like talking to Zetian, is that how you say her name? But is talking to her, and just like there's a million, like, okay, not a million, but there's like several exclamation marks in his speech, and I'm like, that does not come across as being realistic at all. And just that tone doesn't come across, and he's being very casual, which doesn't come across as like this would not be what that situation looks like. So the dialogue is getting to me more and more and is becoming a bit of a pet peeve. I'm not going to lie about that. So dialogue, not the strongest suit, not the strong point of this novel, but it is really good outside of that. I am just absolutely loving it. I know it's not normally my type of book either, so I couldn't really say why I'm loving it so much, except that it's just really, really well written and really interesting. And I love our protagonist. I think she's fantastic. But the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about today, oh my God. I finished watching season 1 of Our Flag Means Death. I'm going to have to try to limit myself because I could talk about it forever. I started rewatching it already. It is such an important show to me. It was so soothing to watch. I grew up in like the Tumblr heyday of Super Hulock, and a lot of shows that were coming out and are still coming out, but like the big fandom shows have always just been queer bait. So after Super Hulock, I really wasn't into fandom until I got into like Voltron, and even that show, while it has gay characters, is very much a queer baiting show. And you know, you have to sort of watch all this media and read between the lines and just accept that all you're gonna get are these in between the lines moments, like Hannibal, another great show, that all that context, except for Alana, I believe. Are there more characters? There are queer characters on screen in Hannibal. Like, that's a great show. But our protagonists, they have a great chemistry, and they just, it's all between the lines. And it's so much like ingrained, I think, in my subconscious that sort of storytelling and that sort of centering storytelling on queer characters in a fun show, in a show that's good for a lot of reasons, is always going to be subtext. And then Our Flag Means Death is so not subtext. It goes for it. And like, I knew, this is spoilers, okay? Spoilers for Our Flag Means Death. I knew the kiss was coming because I had seen people talking about it. I had seen pictures, and I don't think it like processed in my head that it was real. And then I got to the episode and it was real, and like it was like coming up for like air for a moment to be like, this show did it. It went all the way, and it gave us at least 6 explicitly queer characters by the end of season 1 that are all protagonists, that are all important, and it was just this fulfillment of the shows I loved growing up and being in like middle school and high school and loving, and getting to see this sort of like spiritual fulfillment. And it was so wonderful, and I don't know if I could like explain it or pass these emotions on to someone who hasn't had those experiences of fandom. It's still like a phenomenal show. Like on every level, I love the show. It's hilarious. It's fantastic. I love it. I was laughing in every episode constantly. I loved the characters. Even if it had ended up being subtext, I would have loved the characters. But the fact that it wasn't just subtext, wasn't just reading between the lines, the fact that it is canon, it just elevates it so much. And right now we don't have an announcement for season 2. And someone on the Reddit pointed out that there's the Warner Brothers Discovery merger happening right now, which means that they have a lot of other things going on. So this is probably not the top of their priority list. It should be, considering how much of an online fan base it has. Like, it's getting like large, and they've done less for the fans. Like, Warner Brothers will cater to fans, right? We've seen that with Zack Snyder's edition of Justice League. The merger means they have a lot going on, which means it might be okay, and like don't be disappointed if it's not being announced right now, right? Season 2, it may not be announced right now because of so much going on. That being said, mergers often lead to a lot of cancellations. Now, I don't think that Discovery is going to be like, it's not like it's a big network. It's a big company, but it's not like if ABC or if, like when Fox and Disney merged, like that was big. Okay, it's not like that. It's still big. And mergers mean cancellations, and they mean firings. And I am just a little worried that this merger could somehow ripple effect lead to no season 2 of Our Flag Means Death. And that idea is just breaking my heart. So I'm going to be uneasy, I think, until I know for sure whether we're getting season 2. I wanted to say that. I'm going to try really hard not to just convert myself over to an Our Flag Means Death stan account, because I cannot do that. I'm obsessed, but I can't like obsess so much that it takes over my life. I did that with Voltron, and that was a lot to get myself out of once I was like done with that fandom. I'm not completely done, okay? I'm not completely done, but I'm mostly out of that fandom now. I loved the show. It means a lot to me. It has easily become one of my new favorite shows because of this, and I needed to share how important and how much it meant to me with all of you, because it was fantastic. And this is, if you haven't watched it, you definitely should. It's fantastic. It's hilarious. The characters are great. It is just a level above everything else on TV right now. I'm not gonna lie. But that's up for updates, I think. All right, I redid my room, so now my bed juts out like this. And I have a couple piles of like stuff that was hidden the way it used to be, but is like, I'm probably gonna sell most of that back or give it to friends. But I redid my room for this bad boy, this air conditioning unit. My best friend in the whole wide world. It is like 80 something degrees today, which is ridiculous because it's still April, but oh my god, I was not happy about it. So put the air conditioning unit in. It took kind of all morning. It's normally running, but I turned it off so I could talk to you and you could hear me. And that means I got to sort of reveal more of my classic shelf. So I've got some down there, but these are the two I'm most excited. This is NYRB's and other modern, like, rediscovered classics. So I have my 2 McNally editions and then my 2 handheld press editions, which are the Sylvia Townsend Warner books, but I do want to expand that collection. And then Stoner is just a hardcover NYRB, and then I have these like vintage edition, like vintage collector's editions. Not all sets are complete, obviously, but I have complete Jane Austen, and back here I have my complete Japanese literature Otherwise these didn't change. Yeah, this is the same, but I can see it a little better now and I'm really excited. I also I finished my second watch through of Our Flag Means Death. My second watch through, which was as good as the first one, if not better, because I kind of knew what to expect and I could really bask in the details, and I loved it so much. It was worth rewatching, and I did buy some merch off of Redbubble. I'm really excited for it. I got a mask that matches the bathrobe, the red bathrobe thing, and I got a t-shirt that said, or it doesn't say anything. I was actually debating getting one that said Blackbeard's Bar and Grill and Delicacies and Delights and Fishing Equipment, but I found one on Etsy I prefer, so I'm just gonna wait. I wanted to do a Redbubble purchase, and I'll wait and do an Etsy one later. But then it's one of the flags that they make in the first episode, which is the skull eating another skull. I was just like, yes. Really excited for that to come, so hopefully those will come soon. And I've never actually bought a mask off of Redbubble, so I don't know if it's comfortable, but I hope it is. That's it for updates. I'm trying to feel more like myself lately, and this morning was really bad, and I almost had a really bad spiral, but I didn't, so I'm proud of that. So now I'm gonna do some editing for YouTube, and I don't know, probably edit for like half an hour or so. That's what I'm feeling like doing. And then I want to do a little bit of writing. It probably won't even be half an hour. It'll probably just be 100 words, because that's sometimes all I have in me. And then I am going to, I don't know, relax. I haven't read it all today. I was rewatching Our Flag Means Death and cleaning up my room, and so I didn't really have time, but I would like to do some reading today, and I have D&D tonight, so yeah, that's it for updates. I am about halfway through Iron Widow. My hair looks really messy. And I don't know, I woke up and I was like, I think we need to come to the end of this vlog. Probably today. Or I'm sorry, not today, but probably with the end of Iron Widow, I will be saying goodbye. So I just wanted to say I think it is time. I don't know, this has been like 2 months going. And I don't want to like overwhelm and have like a super long video, but I want to just, I don't know. It was nice hanging out for so long in one spate. I don't think I'll do another one like this, but it was still really nice. A couple more days, not done with Iron Widow yet. Plan to do a lot of reading today, because I don't have much else to do. But yeah, the end is coming. And summer is almost here, so that times pretty well. Hope you can hear me over the air conditioner. I got like everything I needed to get done today by like 2 o'clock, and so I've just kind of been bouncing between reading Iron Widow, and I finished my rewatch of What We Do in the Shadows, which is one of my favorite films anyways, but I kind of want to like spend time in the Taika Waititi universe. So I like rewatched it, and now I started watching Flight of the Conchords, which has Rhys Darby in it and Jermaine Clemens, and anyway, so I've just been bouncing between reading that and watching Flight of the Conchords, and I'm gonna go to take my brother back to school, but then after that I'm just gonna come home and probably continue doing it, because it has been relaxing, and I haven't had like a day like this where I actually felt relaxed and accomplished in a long time, so it feels good. And even though I'm still having some issues with the dialogue in Iron Widow, I'm getting really into it again, and it's picking up stride again, so I'm quite enjoying it. I don't think it's going to be more than like 4 stars in the end, but it's quite good. I just finished recording a video, which is definitely going up before this video, so I can tell you I was doing a recommending a book for every member of the Crew of the Revenge, and that was fun. It was definitely a short video, but sometimes you need a short video. But I also, last night at about 10:30, finished reading Iron Widow by Jiren J. Zhao. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. I really am sorry. I had so many ups and downs with this book. Okay, I went from loving this book to being like, this is not great, to being, I'm loving this book, to being, this is not great, to, wow, that's a good plot twist, to, no, actually, I saw it coming and this ending was rushed. So in the end, I'm giving it 3.5 stars, which at first I was like, man, I kind of wish I could give it a higher rating, but I just don't feel like it deserves a higher rating than that. And I was looking at my ratings for this year, how they've been stacking out, and I haven't given a single novel 5 stars yet. I think the closest has been like 4.5 stars. So actually, I don't feel bad. I think it aligns quite nicely. And A Lesson in Vengeance, which I absolutely adored, I only gave 4 stars. So I think it actually was quite fair. And I don't feel that bad after seeing how it stacks up. Iron Widow, do I recommend it? Yes, I actually do. I think that it is in a lot of ways a good book, and particularly a good debut book. The dialogue was the weakest point, by far the weakest point. There were a lot of issues with it. It was clumsy, and sometimes the way it was affected on the page was like almost inappropriate for the situations they were in. The plot twists, some of them I saw coming, but I think that's just because I'm familiar with the genre. And then some of them I was surprised by. There was at the end a lot of fast-paced events, which didn't come out of nowhere, but definitely didn't have enough build-up to be as impactful as they could have been. That being said, there were other things that happened throughout the book that legitimately got a gasp from me, and that did have the impact they were meant to have. So really, it's just had some little clumsy moments and poor dialogue, but otherwise is a pretty decent book. And the moments in the middle where I was slogging through it, it was a lot because of that dialogue. It was dialogue heavy stuff, and I just was not into it. The characters, so okay, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that this book has a polyamory relationship as the main relationship, because I've seen that in a lot of the marketing. And I liked that. I liked that it kind of spun on the very traditional YA love triangle trope, which this book actually does really good job of spinning on a lot of the tropes that are out there and have been perpetuated. I think in a lot of ways it sort of opens a new dialogue with the Hunger Games. And if I was going to like fast pitch it, I would say Skyward meets the Hunger Games. The chemistry between the characters wasn't really there for me. It was at the beginning, and then as the continued on, I was just like, oh, this doesn't feel like it's doing much. Like there's not really anything there. That being said, I still liked it. I still thought that it was a valuable relationship. I still thought that it was built up in a lot of ways. It just wasn't, maybe not doing it for me. It could have been a personal thing. I also adored Zitian. I loved her. I love when female characters are allowed to just be angry and mean. I love that. And I love to see a protagonist do that and still be the protagonist and still in a lot of ways be the hero. I adored it. I really loved her. I want to see more female characters like her. Okay, she should be a mold that people start taking nods from. She had, like, I was sympathetic to her, and I still was like, you're a cold bitch, and I love you. Yes, I did. I love Zetian. She did a lot of work in this book for me to love it. But yeah, I am very much happy with my 3.5 star rating. I'll definitely continue this series. I think it's a duology, although I think it probably would have benefited from being a longer series. Just, there's some stuff that happened in the end of this one that would have been more impactful in a longer series. Like second book reveals almost, or just more build up in this book. I do recommend it. If you're interested in reading this, do it. Pick it up. It's worth it. do not let the mechs frighten you away from it, because they're cool. They're very cool. I love how the mechs are done. And if you like the anime Darling in the Franxx, this is like, in a lot of ways, directly born from that anime, so you'd also probably like this. But that's it. This is finally the end of this vlog. I want to say goodbye. I guess I'll tell you what I'm reading now, and then I'll say my goodbye. So I'm reading James Patterson by James Patterson, which is his memoir, which I'm going to have a full review. Okay. I already have a lot to say, and I'm not even 50 pages in. And I am unironically excited to read this book. I was so excited when the ARC arrived at work. However, I'm not excited in the way that, like, a fan of James Patterson is. I'm excited in the way that, like, this man is so weird to me. Just the way he writes. It's weird to me. And this is the perfect opportunity to read about him and to talk about him on a video. So keep an eye out for the James Patterson video. It's been a long time coming. I actually started it a while ago and then, like, put it on indefinite hiatus, and then I found out this was coming out. I was like, okay, I'll read it when it comes out. Then I got the ARC and I was like, okay, I'll read it early. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this. If you liked this content, if you stuck around this long and you're a new watcher, thank you. It surprises me a lot that you stuck around this long, but thank you. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you, thank you, thank you. It means the world that you are here with me. Thank you. If you are somewhere cold, I hope you're staying warm. If you're somewhere warm, I hope you're staying comfortable. And most of all, I hope you're reading a great book. I will see you guys next time. Bye!